You're a professional player, and I can do this to you. You're a terrible player. This is disgraceful.
I'm in level 1. Another thing, I know I've told you guys this before. Do not eat.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
When you wake up, no breakfast, no calories. You can have some water. Sit down at the table, no eating, no snacks. You can chew gum. Dinner break, no food, no calories of any kind, 0.
Okay, we're gonna watch a video here about hands that you shouldn't play.
This is the #1 reason why people lose at poker. All of the hands I'm about to list are pure junk. You need to be folding them before the flop. Ace-9, Ace-5, Queen-9, a 9-7, or a 7-5. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if they're suited or not. These hands are...
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He's saying Ace-5 suited, 7-9 suited, King-8 offsuit or suited. Like, poker, it's never absolute where you say these hands you can never play them. Like, in certain circumstances, if you're in position, Ace-5 suited is like the nuts.
These nuts? Got him!
7-9 suited, King-8 suited, all these hands are in range to open and it's standard. What's the stack size that you feel like danger zone for you? Like how many bigs? Is it 20 bigs, 15 bigs, where you start like freaking out?
It's situational. It's anything less than I had at my peak. So if we run up starting stack to like 8x starting stack and then we fall down to 7x starting stack, we start panicking.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Yeah, and I've tried real hard to tell him, look, I mean, when the average is 38, let's say, and he's got 22, he's like, I got a double. I'm just, I don't play a lot of tournaments. He plays a lot more tournaments than I do, but I'm trying to tell him, you don't always need to be the chip leader of your table, be in a good position to go deep in the tournament.
Confucius say, if a man make a mistake in the elevator, he must be wrong on many levels.
Okay, guys, we're live. Today we've got a special guest at the table, a WSOP bracelet winner, a grinder who's proven he can go to distance. And a player who knows how to close when it counts, Mr. Justin Fawcett, aka the Sir.
I thought you were going to say, and also we have Justin Fawcett here.
Oh, you're the star.
But no, you are that guy, sir. We're diving into his journey, the bracelet run, and the lessons learned along the way. Let's muck around and find out. And our co-host is David Sweeley, PLO crusher at the Hard Rock, and also a player that gets way out of line. You guys both get way out of... We don't get people on here, by the way, that don't get out of... If you don't get out of line, what are we going to talk about? ABC poker? Nobody likes ABC poker. Justin, let's start off with a little background, just how you got into the game. And I'm going to be learning about this because I really never asked you that question.
This was either late 05 or early 06. My friend Tall Dave back in the day was playing online at an online site called Gaming Club, and I was just over at his house and just watching him play, and I was fascinated that he was able to play for real money, and he just kind of taught me to play. And then there was a home game back in the day that a lot of us played in, and I started playing online back in the day, and then ended up winning a satellite to play in the main event in 06. And I just really liked poker, so I just tried to get better and kept playing. And here we are today.
So 06 online, you played the main event in 06? I didn't even know about this.
06 and 07, yeah. One won a satellite both of those years. The first year on Bodog and the second year on Poker Stars.
Wow,
And
this is the
did
heyday of
not win the main event either of those years, nor did
Oh.
we cash. Nor did we ever cash the main event.
What was the
0 for 7.
experience
0
like
for
not
7.
having
It's
being
not easy. It's not easy. Comparing like what you knew about poker back in 06 and what you know now, like, is it night and day?
Yes. In some cases, I feel like I was potentially better before I knew this much because I originally played a lot tighter.
Uh-huh.
Believe it or not, my original style was very solid, very tight, very low variance, very risk averse. And then the more experience I got, the more I started realizing, hey, I could just take a shortcut to win all these chips by trying to steal them. And then my game kind of devolved and got just a little bit more out of line and then a little bit more out of line. And then
I can't believe that Justin Fawcett is saying I was tight and played ABC. I could never see you play that style because the first time I met you was at Hard Rock, and I remember Syrian Mo. I don't know if you remember him, Tarkmani, last name. We were playing a 2-5 game. I think you had like $10,000 in front of you, and both of you were getting so out of line. It was like a show to watch. I'm like, who is this guy? He gets way out of line. And I played like at Hard Rock, people, went out of line. This is like back in 07, 08, I think. This is the first time I met you at the tables. So I don't see you playing a tight ABC style. Like, this is shocking to me.
Sir, we were only playing premium hands back then. I don't know at what year our game devolved, but back then, at some point, originally, we were playing premium hands.
At any back in those days in 06, 07, when you started, you played the WSOP. Did you ever think I can do this for a living, or it was just a hobby?
Poker has a way of, when you're running good, making you think you can do it for a living, and when you're running bad, making you think you're never going to win a hand again.
Good one.
So that you kind of switch back and forth between those feelings and just thinking, yes, I can do this, and then thinking, no, I'm terrible. I can't make it.
Well said. We're gonna pull up your Hendon Mob and see the progression throughout the years. So for 06, 07, throughout these years, were you playing more cash, more tournaments, dabbling in both?
I was playing tournaments online back then, and I was playing cash live, like small stakes live cash games back then. I didn't get into live tournaments till much later, other than, like I said, I played the main event in 06, 07, and then that was it. No other big live tournaments.
Did you know the difference in dynamic? Like back in those days when I started playing, I was playing cash mainly. And every time like a tournament pops up here and there, I would play it. And I didn't know like I didn't know the major adjustment you had to make between both. I thought it's poker. It's the same game. I had no clue about ICM. I didn't have no clue about bet sizing. For me, it was all pot, like all three streets, kind of like cash. So did you know the difference in the dynamic, or you were just winging it?
I was just winging it. I was just winging it on every front, both in cash and in tournaments. I mean, I would say the tournaments were pretty soft back then, the online tournaments. Like I said, I didn't have any experience with live tournaments back then other than the couple main events. But the like cast of characters that we used to play with in our live cash games were it was a fun cast of characters. It was comprised of club owners, DJs, bartenders, club managers, and the game would start at like 2 a.m. and it would go all night. And some people would be intoxicated. It was a 1-2 game where people would originally buy in for $200, but then when they lose their original 200, they're like, okay, now 500 more, now 1,000 more, and then next thing you know, there's people sitting with thousands at a 1-2 no limit game, and so people might open like at 1-2 no limit, someone might open for 80 or something crazy like that. So like sometimes the game would go until like the following evening. So it wasn't like normal poker. It was like the Wild West of just crazy.
Well, I mean, I just recently, I know in your last few years that you've pretty much, you've been going out to Vegas every year for the last few years. How many years in a row have you been going out to Vegas? I know
So I went 06 and 07, like I said, only played the main event. Then I had a long gap. Just busy with other things. Always wanted to go, but never made it back out there until I want to say 2016.
Yeah.
Played again, maybe the main event in 2016 and 17. And then I want to say 2019, I went, and that was the first time that I actually played some of the other WSOP events. Because a lot of people think about the World Series of Poker, they think about the main event. But there's actually like 100 events, ranging of all size buy-ins, ranging in all the different games, different level lengths, different starting chip stacks. So I think there's much more value actually in playing several of the smaller events. If you have, for example, a $10,000 budget and you just want to play poker, you could either play the main event one time, or you could play, 20 events of an average of $500 buy-in. So 2019 was the first year that I played some of the smaller events, and I think that was when I made the realization that that's more bang for your buck, because you can go out there for a few weeks or longer and play so many different events, and it gives you a better chance for variance to even out when you're playing several different events. So then after that, I think I went out there for part of the summer in 20. I didn't go 2020. That was COVID. I didn't go 2021, I don't think. 2022, I think, was the first time I went out there for the whole summer. Stayed 53 days in the wind. And but I was playing both cash games and tournaments. And then 2023 and 2024, I just went for portions of the summer, also playing both cash games and tournaments. And then this year, 2025, was the first time ever that I said, I'm going for the whole thing, going for the whole summer, and I'm going to focus only on tournaments. And it went well.
Yeah, so you only played tournaments until all the tournaments were done. You played one cash session at the end, but you just strictly focused on tournaments. And the biggest thing I noticed is we talked about how, the last 2 or 3 years before this year, you're always there. Your name is always on the leaderboard, day one, chip leader, top 5 chip stack. You always have this. I have a mega chip stack, and then you either don't cash, or you min cash, or you 3x your buy-in, and all these events have hundreds of thousands and sometimes seven figures up top, and you weren't able. And you talked to me. We talked strategy and how you were going to make adjustments. So talk about some of the adjustments you made to not only accumulate those chip stacks on day one, but to keep it going, keep the momentum because you had a lot of success in 3 and 4 day events. So talk about some of the adjustments you made in those middle stages.
Yeah, so it's just like you said, I was very good at building day one chip leads. Like, you're talking events that have, 7,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people. And then every day one, I'm like among the chip leaders, like some huge percentage of the time, probably 70% of the time. I've got an enormous stack day one, but then I would just continue doing the things that I was doing at the beginning and end up either punting my stack off or just gambling in a bad situation. And like you said, like I would usually be able to ride it and still either min cash or even sometimes make it down to the final 5%, but rarely be getting down to the very end, knocking on the door of winning a bracelet, other than that one run with the Millie Maker a couple years ago where we got 21st. So we did identify that we need to make adjustments in the secondary levels. And I think what I really needed to do is, before you lose the big pot, recognize that the game is changing from a post-flop game into more of a pre-flop game because of the stack sizes are smaller in relation to the blinds. And then adjusting your game, because what I was doing before is I was still playing like it was a post-flop game when it was no longer a post-flop game. So I'm still calling 3-bets with drawing type hands when I'm not really getting the odds to hit them. And I'm still playing a very high percentage of my hands when I should be tightening up. So I wanted to take myself a little bit more out of autopilot and be very more deliberate and really be asking myself, okay, everything I've been doing is working. I have an enormous stack. I'm table captain. I'm one of the chip leaders of the whole tournament, but is it time to switch gears? And being aware of also how everyone perceives me at the time, and without saying anything, all of a sudden making the calculation that, you know what, it's time to switch, and then just switching everything about how I play. And then
Let's get to the nitty gritty. You're talking in general terms. So let's say somebody like a novice right now listening, and you want to give them advice. We said build big stacks, which I think is the most important thing in tournaments, because you said something valuable to me once. And shout out to Jaka, like that's his method, is to be able to weather a bad beat. You got to have, if you have a big stack, if you have a 60 big blind stack and you get sucked out on in a 30 big blind pot, or you lose 30 big blinds, you still have 30 big blinds to move on. But if you're always short stack and have like between 20 and 30 bigs, and you get that suck out, like let's say aces versus sixes or sevens, and they bink that set, and you have 30 big blinds invested, you're out of the tournament. Your style is build big stacks so you can weather all the bullshit that happens between like the early stages, middle stages, and you're going deeper. Talk to us, and you can divulge as much information as you want at your discretion. Give us the nitty gritty. Like, are you playing like a plus EV style, kind of like a cash game style, where you're like pushing draws to the max? Are you, like you said, you're calling 3-bets with kind of like sketchy hands that shouldn't continue? And has it been like you're studying this, or this is just intuitive stuff that you kind of came up with?
There's a lot of different answers to that. So step one, I would say it's very important to show up at the beginning of the tournament or near the very beginning of the tournament. I know a lot of people like to max late reg now. I would highly recommend showing up at the beginning, because when you get there at the beginning, there's a lot of people who don't know how to play that many big blinds deep. They've maybe studied the solvers for when you're sitting with 20 big blinds and everyone's sitting with 20 big blinds, but they don't know what to do in these deeper situations. And if you're someone who's had a lot of experience playing both tournaments and cash games, the cash games will give you the experience to play in the deeper situations.
See, this is where you shine. Like a lot of grinders I know, they don't know what to do with more than 40 big blinds. They get lost. Your cash backgrounds, because you're always, when you're playing cash and PLO, you're deep. You have 200, 300 big blinds. You're comfortable playing like that. A lot of tournament grinders are only comfortable between like 20 to 40 or sub 40 big blind stack, because they've studied these spots, but they don't know what to do with 100 big blinds or 150. You're comfortable in that. That's why you like to come in early. So there's two school of thought. Some professionals coach that, hey, you should show up early and take those spots, and you can double up and triple up early. When I had Becker on, Becker said, okay, if you double up early, so what? And he's right. Like if you have 100 bigs and now you have 200 bigs, he's saying that doesn't make that much of a difference. See, Becker is like from the school of like tournament grinder, and he's a pro at playing a short stack. Like he can navigate. Like I've seen him like 3-bet off of a 11 big blind stack, c-bet, and then fold to like aggression. So he knows how to navigate that short stack. You're not comfortable with short stacks. You thrive with like 50 plus. So anyway,
I feel short stacked if I only have 50 big blinds. I need to have masses of chips. So I say step one is show up at the beginning. Also, the other good thing about showing up at the beginning is if you show up later, a lot of the people who showed up at the beginning that were the worst players already donated their stacks and already left. So all those chips that all those people are giving away at the beginning, you're not going to get a chance to get any of them if you show up later. So the other reason people say don't show up at the beginning is because you might find yourself in for multiple shells. But that's another piece of my advice is you should be playing a buy-in size that you can afford to fire multiple shells, and you should be playing a higher variance style at the beginning, knowing that you may have to fire multiple shells, and that's all right. So
talking about multiple shells, let's mention Idiot Poker, the school that you've been pushing on us for so long. And how did that come about? And is there a dream for that to ever be a thing? Like,
Idiot Poker teaches us that we need to possess an unwavering commitment to rebuy until we get even. But how Idiot Poker came about, this is back in the days of Full Tilt and Poker Stars and Party Poker. And there's all these sites that were promoting, like, come play with the pros. And they had all these big name sponsored pros, like all these biggest sharks. And I'm sitting here thinking, why do I want to play with the pros? I would rather play with the idiots. So it's going to be a lot more profitable to play with the idiots. So I had this idea to start an online poker site and make the slogan, why play with the pros when you can play with the idiots? I was going to glamorize the bad play. I was going to have featured idiots instead of sponsored pros, the guys who are just there to just blast and have some fun doing it. But then Black Friday happened, online poker went into this gray area where is it legal or not in America and so forth. So I'd already bought the domain name and I just kind of sat on it forever. It was like a someday maybe idea because it's not easy to just start your own poker site, as Phil Galfond.
By the way, I didn't know you have a poker. This is the first time I learned about this. I didn't know you actually had a domain.
Yeah, I had the domain. And so eventually at some point I'm like, let me just get the Twitter handle, the Instagram, and I'll just, post some like funny stuff on the Instagram. I have like a backlog of funny posts I can put on the Instagram that I just haven't gotten around to doing yet. But I don't think it'll be something that I ever actually turn into an online poker site. But it's still it's a funny brand. I do think that it's important that we make poker fun. That if it's all about just playing GTO and the skill of it, and it's not fun, and everyone's just there trying to be this robot, then there's not even going to be money to be made in poker, or not as much. But if everyone's doing it for fun, and you encourage people to do it for fun, and you reward bad play, then people can come in and dump a bunch of money and have so much fun doing it that they feel like it was like an entertainment expense, so everyone wins. Some people get bang for get entertainment for their money. Other people who do it for a living get to make money. You got to give action to get action. I think Doyle Brunson said that in Super System. You got to give action to get action. So if you're one of those people coming in not giving action and just thinking you're just going to sit here and extract money out of the game, no, you're not.
100%.
Let's promote Idiot Poker and make poker fun.
It is so easy. People don't understand how easy it is to play against ABC players. Like I always, I coach one player, and we always talk about this. Whenever there's a big bet on the river, you ask yourself one thing: is this player capable or not capable? So if they're not capable, it's easy. 9 times out of 10, you're going to fold because they just have it. And you know how easy it is to play against somebody? The whole point of poker is to try to guess and figure out the puzzle and figure out if that person has it or doesn't have it. But when they play ABC style and they always have it, when they bet big, just fold and you're going to win every time. Like, you're going to save chips. So being capable of that big bluff like you, it's so hard because now you're putting me in the blender on the river because I have no clue if you have 7 deuce or you have the absolute nuts. It makes it so much tougher because I know you're capable of pulling that big. You're capable of pulling all the chips in the middle with absolutely nothing, or the absolute nuts. That's what poker is all about. The people that play ABC, like I've been playing at TGT lately. They've been running a lot of good tournaments. Shout out to JD. The guy is trying his best. I'm helping him promote the room. with what he has to offer. He has a there's a multi-day, by the way. You should come fire, sir. Have an unwavering multiple bullets, and he has there's a 250K 350 buy-in. It's a solid tournament, solid structure.
250K. When's that?
Sweeley, you should fire at it. It starts today, actually. It's a dual room between Silks and TGT. It's running at both places.
Just weekend, or
it's they have 2 flights, I think, today all the way all through Saturday.
Okay.
The schedule is online. I can actually pull it up here in a minute. But anyway, my point was, the players there, God bless them. ABC. Yesterday, every big bet on the river was the nuts or close to it. There was no bluffs. I mean, I played a hand with the guy. He fired all 3 streets. Young kid. So the young is always a factor because, you know, teenagers think they're invincible. So they're actually capable sometimes of pulling the 3 street 3 barrels. No, he had queens on a jack high board. We flop. It was jack 7-8. We had jack 9 suited on the button. I just flatted pre. He fired half pot, which credit to him, he played the hand well. Most amateurs with an overpair, they telegraph right away by betting like pot or over pot on the flop. Right away, they're telegraphing what they have because they're always scared of being outdrawn.
Right.
So he fired half pot on the flop. I call turn. Doesn't give me more equity. It was like a brick, like a 3 or a 4. So we still have the gutter, a 2-pair draw, and the gut shot, and the over top pair. He fires again like half pot. I call. River pairs the board. It was jack 9, 8, 4, 8. By the way, monotone board. 3 diamonds. We don't have diamonds. So I'm like, what kind of bluffs does he have? He could take that line with like ace queen with the ace of diamond, or queen of diamond, ace king with the ace of diamond, or king of diamond. Those hands that have the ace of diamond in them, or high card with the diamond that fire flop turn, brick river, and just go for it. Of course, he had queens, no diamond. But I mean, I think it was well played. But my whole point is, when they fire a big bet on the river, they have it I have yet to see it. I didn't see one bluff last night. So you come in, sir, and you put all the chips, and then you show me. Do you show bluffs, by the way, on the river? Like, let's say you pull a big bluff. Are you showing or you're not showing?
Overall, I would advise against showing, but there are scenarios where I will show. At that final table, I actually did show a bluff, but that's only because the guy showed me a bluff first, and I couldn't resist.
I saw it.
Got him back. Like,
I was on the rail.
The bracelet, your bracelet.
The final table. He showed it. He bluffed and showed him. Me and Parm were sitting, and we were like, "Oh my God, he's bluffing!" And he threw it, and he threw the cards right in front of you just to antagonize you. Yeah. You did it 3 hands later, and you did the same thing. You threw the cards in front of him, and it was complete air. Like, to show him, because I knew that would affect you. Because heads up. Oh, you know what? Talking about this out of line hand, let's show a video.
I didn't get to finish answering that question of how I build big stacks.
Go ahead, and we'll share the screen of the final hand afterwards.
Okay, yeah. So come in level 1. Another thing, I know I've told you guys this before. Do not eat when you wake up. No breakfast, no calories. You can have some water. Sit down at the table. No eating, no snacks. You can chew gum. Dinner break. No food, no calories of any kind. 0.
So people think this is a joke.
This is not a joke. We eat when we bag. We eat when we bag.
See, this is hard for me personally. I got to have a breakfast, but I don't eat throughout the grind. So 7-8 hours, no food during that. Some people can't, like, I can't not have a breakfast because my brain doesn't function well. So I respect you for being able to do. You have a 6 stamina, and I don't know where it comes from because I've seen you pull.
From not eating.
Yes, you can actually
eating.
But not
I get tired.
Most people need the brain fuel.
They think they need the brain fuel.
They feel like they do. But tell us what happens after that dinner break. Every single time. Tell us what happens.
Oh.
You know, we come back from dinner break. Everyone who ate blasts their stacks away. Like, and you just sit here and you're like, I didn't eat. If you want extra credit, take another shower during dinner break. Come back and just wait, and everyone will just blast their stacks. Like crazy stuff that you would never see anyone do. Like the super solid guy is like now 3-barreling with king 3 suited. Like you're just sitting here like calling, and then I'm gonna make a read. He's repping like the nuts, but I don't believe him. Call, I have top pick. Oh, you had king tray high. Thanks for all the chips, bro.
Tell us where like did you train yourself to be able not to eat for 10 hours, 11 hours, or was that natural?
Just don't do it. Like, let me ask you a question. You're saying, oh, it's too hard not to eat. What if I told you right now that you could win a bracelet next year if you just don't eat, like until you bag?
Man,
would you do it then?
I'll stop eating from now
Okay, that's my point. So no eating. That's what it is. Everyone else is going to eat. I used to get frustrated because they would have the dinner break because I'd be like, man, I just have to waste time and walk around and it's boring. And I'm just like, I want to get back to the tables. But then I started being like, but it's actually a good thing because all these other idiots are going and eating. And now they're going to all donate all their stacks. So then you come back and so like the early phases, you're building the stacks, but then after dinner, you're really building because everyone's punting. You can even tell people this in real time, and they still will punt their stack away. You could be like, "Who here ate dinner?" And like almost everyone will be like me. I'll be like, "Huge mistake, bro. You're gonna punt your stack away." Then next thing you know, they punt their stack away, they leave, and then everyone else at the table is like, "Whoa, you weren't kidding. They really punted it away." But I bet you they're still gonna eat dinner next time.
Shout out to Lazar Ramolina. What's up, Lazar? He says, I totally agree with him about not eating, bro. I don't even eat at the poker table. It takes my mind off of it. Okay, let's talk. Why do you think eating messes up with your focus? Like why?
Food affects our bodies in ways that we can't predict.
Mm-hmm.
So it just creates like an unpredictable scenario. Like whereas we're trying to make decisions on what to do with our chips and how to play our cards, a lot of those decisions are very fragile. They're very like, okay, I could raise here, or I could fold here. It's a tough decision. Should I go with it or not? And you're more likely to make that right decision without that exterior factor affecting you. But then you eat something and then it just pushes the decision. You know, you would have made the right fold, but now here you are saying, you know what, I have a pair. If he has ace king, my pair is good. And then like you just go with like the 6 and he shows you kings, and you're just like, why did I just give him my whole stack when I just had a pair of 6s and he had pocket king? He clearly had pocket king.
That's so on point. Poker, besides knowing the game, behavioral stuff at the table is like half the battle. Again, comes to mind Becker. Lately, if you see the state of mind he's playing in, completely calm, completely relaxed, even in big spots. You don't see a spike in adrenaline. He's never excited, always calm. You were like that at the final table. You were in Zen state, like a flow state. I can see it. Another thing, thinking about you, massage. Getting a massage changes how you play. When you get too comfortable, you don't go after it anymore. If you see you're not going after the small pots anymore. It's not like that killer instinct because you're relaxed, you feel good.
Do you feel that's true, Justin?
What do you think?
What do you think?
I think for me, I need something to reel me back a little bit. I think massages reel me back. I think if I'm getting a massage at the table and I can just enjoy the massage, where I might want to get a little bit too out of line in something that's not going to work, I can tell myself, let me just enjoy the massage. I'm still obviously gonna take every opportunity that's there. And if I notice that I've been really passive for a while getting the massage, I might be like, you know what? Nobody thinks I'm out of line because I'm getting a massage. So now I'm going to steal some stuff.
Sir, where's the massage girl? You said there's going to be. Is she going to pop up anytime? Like, or
sure. That was if we filmed. That was if we filmed this weekend. So
opportunity.
Let me go back to like how to build stacks early, because, like I said, you shouldn't be eating. You should be playing a stake that you can fire multiple shells if you need to. You don't want to fire multiple shells, but you need to be willing to fire multiple shells so that when you get in situations early along, you take the higher variance play. You take the more gambly play because there's no point in like coasting into a min cash. You want to take the higher variance play. You could say, hey, I'm either going to blast my stack away or I'm going to double it. And if you double it, now you have enough chips to build it up more. I think you want to, your original goal should be to build up 5+ starting stacks while most of the other players are still like around starting stack. Then you can become table captain, you can bully everyone, etc., and keep doing that until that inflection point where it becomes a pre-flop game, and then tighten up, and now you've got this huge stack. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have players that come in and like donate their stack because they feel short stacked, so they're going to go all in with
this is too general. Let's get to the nitty gritty. When you say build 4 or 5 stacks, sometimes you're sitting there and you're getting the Jack 3, King Deuce, Ace 4. So what are you doing in situations when you're card dead? How are you going to build 5 stacks?
Here's what goes through my mind on any given hand that I'm going to play. I try to look at it 4 levels deep. So level 1 would be, what do we have? That is knowable. We know what our hand is. Level 2 is, what do we think you have? That's not knowable. Level 3 is, what do we think you think we have? And level 4 is, what do we think you think we think you have? So I'm comparing, I'm thinking on those 4 levels and every hand on every street, and all of those change every with more information throughout the hand, other than what do we have, level 1.
Process of elimination.
So then I'll be comparing level 1 to level 3 and level 2 to level 4. For example, how does what we have compare to what we think you think we have? And how does level 2 compare to level 4? How does what we think you have compare to what we think you have?
But you do know that the players we play against are on level 1. You're going like the level 4 and 5. What they think that you think that they have, that's level 3.
That's perfect. If
they're at a level, they are at a level where they're looking at their cards, they're trying to match it to the board. They're not even thinking about what you have. They're just.
I would argue they're at least thinking on level 2. Most of them, they're trying to think.
They're not even thinking about what you could have. They're literally thinking about their hand, how it plays out to the board. If you play against Sweeley, for example, he's thinking on level 4 and level 5 because he's got he. By the way,
oh my god, I don't know get anywhere near level 5. That's too far.
So you think about level 6. The people, you can't win a bracelet without thinking at level 5 and level 6. Sweeley, by the way, was a very successful tournament player. I don't even know why he stopped playing tournaments. I know it's not steady, and you're gonna go through like droughts where you don't cash 20, 30 buy-ins, and that's like frustrating as hell. That's what we go through. Like, you gotta stick it out. But he crushed when he was playing, and all of a sudden he disappeared. I don't know why. I would say play more tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm sure you crush PLO and it's like steady income, but I say go back to tournaments, because he, like, when he first showed up to the scene, sir, he was way out of line. I'm like, who is this guy? I didn't know him because he played cash, and he wasn't like an opponent to think about. But then, I mean, he played when Becker was here. He played, I think, after COVID, like 21, 22.
And he had years of tournaments, yeah,
and he shipped
the last 3 years or so.
You started playing like what, 21?
I moved here in 2019, and I played a few tournaments in 19 and 20.
You've only moved here. You've only been here 6 years.
Yeah, March of 2019. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's why you showed up at the scene at that time. Where did you move from?
Atlanta. Yeah, I was an accountant then. I was working full time as an accountant.
Gotcha.
2019. Yeah.
Sir, let's pull
Justin in 2021, and he was out of line.
Yeah, let's talk about this. How did you guys meet?
We met at a poker table. Speaking of out of line, Sweels was out of line. I was just like, this guy must have so much money, because the way he's playing, like, just spewing around, it was like he's playing so crazy, but it was like he's one of those guys that's so good that can play that crazy and still win. That was my original read of him. So I'm just like, he's not just like a whale who's spewing. he's like so good that he can play a spewy style and still win. And
It's a
clearly
balanced spewy style, not just like balls to the wall, fire, and just be reckless. He can balance it, kind of like your style too.
I actually wasn't out of line that particular trip, and the game that I played with Sweeley.
Correct?
What?
Was it 2021 or maybe the end of 2020? I remember I was playing a lot of big PLO for about 6-8 months there at the Hard Rock.
I think it was 2021, and it was a bigger game than I would ever play, and I'm like, let me just hop into this game. I was getting crushed at the lower, and I did something which is ill-advised, but something I normally do.
So you would normally advise against that, losing at a certain level and then jumping up stakes. You would advise against that?
Well, yeah, that's kind of do as I say, not as I do type thing. Like, but the thinking is if you're losing at one stake and you go to a higher stake, then it dilutes your loss. Now, you can lose 5 buy-ins at the lower stake. If you go to 5x the buy-in, you just need to win 1 buy-in to win it all back. So now, of course, if you lose at the bigger stake, then you're going to lose a lot. But I think I was just getting crushed at the lower stake, and I hopped into the bigger stake. I hadn't even brought that much more money with me, so it was just like 1 or 2 shells, and that's it. And I think I waited patiently, and like Sweeley was playing every hand, getting it in PLO with like 4 random cards, and so I ended up getting it in. What?
Did I really?
Yeah, I ended up getting it in like 4 ways with aces versus you and like 2 other people with random cards, and I'm just like, how is this ever going to win? And I think I ended up winning. I think I had like ace, king 9, and like the king 9 ended up winning with 2 pair or something. Like the aces were not needed. Anyway,
yeah.
Back on subject. Sweeley played crazy. He's masterful.
Do you think you're profitable in 4-card game, Omaha, or more profitable in Hold'em?
So as far as cash, I like playing PLO. As far as tournaments, I think I'm better at Nolan than Hold'em. I still want to get better at PLO tournaments. I still kind of feel like I don't completely know what I'm doing in PLO tournaments. We did win a PLO tournament this summer, but it's actually a funny story because I was getting in the elevator in Paris going down, and it opens on one of the floors. And one of my friends who I didn't even know was in Vegas, like, comes into the elevator. We're both like, what's up? And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to play this PLO tournament at Venetian, but I don't think I really know what I'm doing in PLO. And he goes, you're crushing Hold'em, then why don't you just keep playing Hold'em? And I said, I don't know. I want to learn. I want to get better. And then I just went and won that tournament. But I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
At the Venetian, right? This was the 2nd or 3rd week of your summer.
Yeah, 3 weeks in, that was the tournament of the Venetian. Even after winning, though, I still feel like I don't fully know what I'm doing in PLO tournaments.
Let's watch the out of line final hand. I don't know why I left. I left like a few minutes before you actually won the event. But let's watch this hand. And you said that Poker News reported it wrong.
The river was a 9 of spades, and that's super important. So they posted it wrong as the 9 of clubs.
Okay, let's watch it real quick.
We have a 6-7 offsuit here.
How did the action go before the river? How big was the pot? There's no information on how big the pot is.
We raised pre-flop. We min-raised pre-flop on the button. He called. Flop went check. The turn, the 3 of clubs peels off. He bets small on the turn. We call with 6-7. We have.
Oh, you were double gutted on the turn.
Well, we're open-ended on the flop, so the double gutter.
Right.
So then the river, we hit our straight. We're losing to bigger straights, and we're losing to flushes. That's the 9 of spades on the river, not the 9 of clubs. Then he bets the river. So we now have a decision to fold, call, or raise. So like people that saw this when they saw the river said, oh, what a nit roll, what a slow roll, all this. because number one, they thought that I was calling all in, but I wasn't. I was deciding whether to raise all in. And number two, they didn't realize that the 9 was a spade, so there's a flush out there. So the decision was, is this worth raising for value? Because if we raise for value and he calls and shows us a flush, then we're going to be short, and he's going to be in commanding position to win this tournament now. So this was the hand for the tournament. So I wanted to take my time to like think about whether it's worth raising for value. A lot of players would just call for fear that they would run into a flush here.
Question: these stacks, the orange chips are what, 100Ks?
The orange chips are 1 million. Those are 20 million stacks.
Oh my God!
There's 432 million in play or something like that. So,
wow.
So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. You have more than half the chips in play.
Correct.
That's pretty sick. My other question is, how much experience do you have heads up?
I have a lot of experience playing cash heads up, so I think that puts me in a big advantage when you get down to a final table, because I've played all handed. Like a lot of tournament players have only played full tables, and I've played heads up, 3-handed, 4-handed, 5-handed, 6-handed, 7-handed, 8-handed, 9-handed, 10-handed. I've played it all. And I think that's another reason that I'm good at building stacks early, because sometimes when you come in level 1, they see you at a 4-handed table because they haven't filled it up yet, or a 5-handed table or and some of those other players, they don't know what to do. They're showing up for level 1. They've never played anything but a full table, so you can just chip away at them. It just makes it a lot easier when you're playing 4-handed with people who don't know how to play 4-handed, and you can just chip up like that. So that's another reason that I advise showing up at the beginning. If you know how to play 4-handed, if you're someone who I don't know how to play 4-handed, you might want to not show up.
How many people complain at the Hard Rock, because the Hard Rock, like whenever they have a multi-day event, early levels, you're playing 4-handed every table, and people like tournament players complain so much. And it's early levels, like the blinds are nothing. You're deep. You have like 200 big blinds. So yeah, the blinds are coming back sooner, but you're losing nothing. You're losing pennies, and you're playing short-handed. So they freak out playing 4-handed. Okay, let's continue watching the hand.
To our featured table. So please come back a minute or two early so you get lined up and ready to go. All other players, if you come back to your table and you see some chips in a rack, do not unwrap them. We're going to come along and buy those from you.
No, there's 2 here. That one's
His poker face is on point, by the way. And this is the decision for how much money. First place was 355K. What was second? Like 280?
2 something, no less. It was more than 100K difference, if I remember correctly. You know what you should do is look at my face when the river card hits too, and tell me if I react at all, because I feel like I just.
Let's see.
I don't know if that's in that video, but I have it.
The video
right at the very beginning when he deals the river. Look, do I budge at all?
No, I mean, you're chewing gum. Parm here, when I was on the side, Parm said he shouldn't be chewing gum because in big spots you stop chewing, and then in certain spots you were chewing gum. Like when it's low pressure, you were chewing, and I don't know. I didn't see it.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually use my gum chewing to try to give off false tells in some cases.
You know what? I feel like any movement during a hand is bad. Like your hands shouldn't be moving unless you keep it moving. You keep it balanced. Like some people are always like Ken O'Donnell comes to mind. He's always like very dynamic during a hand. He's shuffling chips, but he keeps it even during the hand. Like throughout the whole hand, he's shuffling chips and moving. And some players like to stay still. I think the hands give off a lot of tells. Chewing gum give off some tells. But here I didn't see anything. No, on you.
Do you usually chew gum, Justin?
Yeah, when I first sit down, I usually chew gum, and then I'll usually probably be chewing gum about 60 to 70% of the time I'm at the table, I would say.
So did he? It looks like he kind of. I mean, I may have missed it, but it looks like he kind of snap called. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I
He
finally
did.
said all in. He goes call 2 pair, and in the instant when he called, I was like, if you saw my face, I thought he had a flush when he called that fast, and then he goes 2 pair, and then I knew I won the tournament. So like there was a
This is sick.
roller coaster of emotions. You know what?
He snap called you with bottom 2 when the flush got there, the straight got there.
Yeah, because he was thinking I was tanking about whether to call or not. So in his mind, he's thinking about Vegas and the Mirage and thinking, please call, please call, please call. Like thinking like, he's got me.
He thought you were
it's
capable
heads up. It's a big hand heads up.
He thought you were capable of making a move. I mean, if you're not capable of making a move there, 2 pair I got 2 pair, but look at the board. It's 5s, 3s, there's flushes, there's straights, everything's out there. I fold. He didn't even think about it. You whatever level he was on, whether he's on level 2, 3, 4, you're on a level above what he was on.
Or he could be on the same level, just be wrong about it. Like you could,
Eric Dillon came 9th. Shout out to Eric. He's a part of the LFGO group. God, look at the pay jumps between 9th and 1st. 10x basically. Exactly 10x. It's pretty sick.
Life changing.
Of course.
The second place was what, 236? Is that what it was?
Let me see.
I think we just saw. I think it was 236.
355, 236, 176.
So it's first doubles, third place. I mean, so Justin talks about this a lot. You play 98% of the tournament. The guy that got third played 98% of the tournament, and then that last 2%, you make as much as the first 98%. Justin talks about that all the time.
It's just as important, like to get through 7,000 people to get third, and everything you have to do all that. As important as that is, it's just as important to make sure you get first instead of third. Like that, it's so critical due to the way the pay jumps work.
Okay, let's see what you did in Vegas this year. That insane run.
You had three wins at 3 different venues. I mean, I'm not sure how many people can say they did that. You won a bracelet. Everyone knows the prestige of bracelets, but you went off property. Talk a little bit about going off property, and not just you were there for the World Series because you feel like the World Series is the best value lots of times, but you went off property to other venues and you got it done. Talk about that a little bit.
So my go-to is the World Series. Like they've got the most tournaments, the best tournaments. But there's going to be a lot of scenarios where you bag a tournament and then you have an off day or two before day 2 happens. And it's like, do I want to take a day off or do I want to play a one-day tournament at Aria has great tournaments going on. Wynn has great tournaments going on. Venetian has great tournaments going on. And there's even some tournaments at some other places like MGM, Orleans. I never made it to any of those. But so week 1, we played the Mystery Millions WSOP and we bagged on 1 shell.
On
and then
Tuesday,
we had
right? Tuesday or Wednesday.
Say it again.
Was it like a day 1 was Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday.
You had a few days off.
So we had days off between I think day 2 wasn't until Sunday, right? So we bagged our first shell. So we're like, what are we gonna do? So then we decided to play that tournament at Aria. And it's funny because we actually thought we were going to play a PLO tournament at Aria. My good friend had sent me the Aria schedule from the previous year, thinking it was that year, and it was like a PLO tournament at Aria. So I show up and they're like, no, we're doing Hold'em today. And I was like, are you serious? I had my heart set on PLO. All right, I'm already here. I guess I'll fire this Hold'em tournament. And then just won it on 1 shell.
Was it a 1 day?
I should point out I did chop. I chopped the Aria and the Venetian, but both with chip lead, so we get the first place in the trophy.
Look at the results. This is the start. I mean, you start May 27th. You got like min cash here. Then right away, this is when the upswing starts. First place.
That min cash hadn't happened yet because we had just bagged, and then we played. So the first one we won was the Aria, and then the Mystery Million still had to play out. It's dated when it started.
You got the first in Aria, and I remember seeing it in your story, 28K. Then
the Colossus.
4 days later, deep, sick run in the Colossus, 45th out of how many the Colossus had, like 20-something thousand players? 16,000 players.
16,000. And we lost. We had a big stack, and we ran into boat under boat.
Another cash in the monster stack, another deep run. The 1,000 pot limit Omaha, you got a cash. Then a first place in Venetian again.
That's the Venetian PLO.
Now we're inching towards 100K or past it. Then you have 4 more caches. Then the big score right here, the 600 for 355K, and it keeps going. The 777.
A few days later, 21st out of 8,000. Like we were very close to
back-to-back bracelets.
Back-to-back bracelets.
So you almost made like $500,000 in a matter of a few weeks. 22K in the 777, a bunch of caches here, and then you go Hollywood and get 8th in the 3,000 no limit. I think what's his name? Tice won it.
Yeah,
what a sick run.
Landon Tice, by the way, it is tough playing against that guy.
Of course,
he's good and he's aggressive, and he. Speaking about like mannerisms while he's playing, he shuffles every time it's on him. He reaches for a stack of chips, like as if he's about to put it in, and then he shuffles it for a while and then acts. And that action is usually not a check; it's usually a bet.
Let's move on. We have a little hand history of the pod here. We have a mystery hand today. Let's watch the hand. Get you guys' input, and then we see what the hand is. It's from a Triton series. Let me share the screen here real quick. And then after that, we're going to go for the questions of the chat from Facebook. But let's watch the hand. To set it up, it's basically going to go heads up between Dimitar Danshev and David Yan. It's the reason I picked that hand because it's an out-of-line hand, something you're familiar with. He opens pre-David Yan in position, calls, the flop comes, and he takes the check call line. He check calls flop, check call turn, check, bomb, river, and we're going to guess his hand and see if he's going for value or bluff.
And it's mystery hand time yet again. Dimitar Danshev this time. Gonded.
Okay. Back in the mystery house, these hands are always very tricky.
Well, not so tricky, perhaps, are 2-10s for David Yan. We saw him 3-bet and take with the 8s moments ago. This time, though, he's going to flat it from the cutoff.
And that's due to the stack size of the opener. Danshev with a massive near million chip stack, not looking to inflate pots.
Yeah. By the way, the blinds are 6K, 12K. It's early in the tournament. Not early. Actually, half the field is gone. They're all deep. Danshev has 924K, close to 100 bigs, a little bit less, like maybe 80 bigs, 85 bigs. David Yan has 1.1, also deep. So it's kind of playing like a cash game at that point. ICM is in play because half the field is gone, but they're super deep. Question about pocket 10s in position. What's the play here? Are we 3-betting always? Are we mixing between 3-bets and flats? What's the situation? Or what do you think, Justin?
I 3-bet way less than a lot of good players 3-bet. So I would flat.
You like flatting more than 3-betting?
Every once in a while, I would 3-bet. I'm never 3-betting, but I'm flatting more than I'm 3-betting.
Mm-hmm. Sweeley, what do you think?
I prefer to flat there too.
Flatting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Most of the sharks will probably 3-bet.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
My style is different.
Let me see the positions here.
game flow is gonna
the cutoff
weigh in.
versus +2. So he opened. I like that you guys said flat. I do a lot of flatting too. A lot of amateurs are like 3-betting this 100%.
What's the buy-in, by the way? I mean, I know it's a main event, but
I'm not sure. I think it's I'm not sure actually.
But at least like 10,000 or
yeah, over 10,000. All these events are over 10K.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This is what the solver is doing, cutoff versus low jack at 100 big blinds. This is 10s right here. 9s, 10s, 8s are like 3-bet at a frequency, even 7s, 6s. These hands normally flat at 100, like 6s, 7s, 8s versus like an early open. But when the open is late from the cutoff, or I mean low jack, when it gets like a later open, they start 3-betting these hands. 9s, 10 is like 3-betting at like 30% and flatting 70. Jack starts 3-betting more. Queens, kings, and aces, of course, for pure value. But Jack's even flatting sometimes.
You put in the stack sizes in to get those results?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put 100 bigs. But anyway, let's continue watching the hand. So he flats.
Heads up.
$80,000 in the middle, as neither blind came along, despite reasonably attractive pricing at this 6 and 12K level. Queen 10-8 middle set here for David. This is a delight.
I'm doing backflips if I'm David Yan.
Oh, yeah. At least for the time being. Granted, the board is somewhat coordinated.
Sure. Especially when it gets checked over to you, you get to set the price. The more coordinated.
Okay, he checks flop. Like, what hands are checking flop right there when you open and you're not a position? Queen 10-8 flop. What are your opinions on that spot? I think it's a high frequency c-bet. I'm surprised he checked there.
Right. Yeah, I would definitely have been expecting a c-bet. For sure.
A lot of it depends on that particular player. A lot of it depends on game flow.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the type of player that's always going to c-bet? And if he doesn't, it's a huge alarm that he has.
None of these guys, the c-bet 100, that's out of the window. Those studied guys that normally out of position, now the solver is like checking at a high frequency, even with value and like middle, like hands, middling hands, like ace 10, king 10 hands suited, pocket jacks, even ace queen, pocket kings. Some of these hands for balance are checking. They're not taking a c-bet 100 line, especially from out of position. In position, it's a different story, but out of position, the solver likes to check a lot from out of position. So what do you think? Where are we ranging Danchev here? I mean, he can even go, like, just because you're checking doesn't mean you're playing a passive, taking a passive line. You can go for some check raises, and it depends on how Yan reacts on that board. But what range are you putting Danchev
I don't think we have enough information because there's so many. He could have a set of queens, 10s, or 8s and be like, all right, I'm going to switch to trapping. He could have a jack 9 and switch to trapping, or he could have an ace 8 or an ace queen and be trapping, or an ace 8 and be pot controlling, or an ace
all these
9
hands are valid.
Ace king, like he could have pocket 6s and be like, I don't want to bloat the pot. Like he could have anything at this point. Like there's not enough information yet. You need more information, I think.
I agree.
Board and deeper stacks, the more likely you go for larger sizings. He keeps it small, 25K into 80.
Yan goes 25% pot.
Danchev deferring post-flop despite being the opener and playing it as a check call. So the pot grows to 130,000. Now an ace on the turn is actually a very attractive development for David, who could very well see a line like this being tethered to the ace X's.
Yeah, Donchev could even have like ace queen still, ace king, ace jack, ace eight. Plenty of hands that David Yan can still get more value from. Sure, king jack did get there. Pocket aces might play passively, but there's plenty of more hands that Jan beats.
Jan goes big. Pot was 130K. He bets 100. Like 80%.
100 into 130.
I like him going bigger here because there's a flush draw. There's so many cards that put 4 to a straight out there now.
Correct.
A king,
You're
a jack, a 9.
A little more expensive
Correct.
now for Donchev.
And he's hoping the guy has like an ace jack or an ace queen or an ace
the
king.
ace is gonna hit Danchev a lot. Like the
Once
opener.
more, pot up to 330,000 now.
Yeah, the ace is gonna hit Danchev a lot for sure.
And the board pairs on the river, so 10's full for David Yan. As played, this very much feels like David can target the whole range of ace X.
330. Danchev has about 2x, 2.2x pot behind. And Yan has like 3x pot. So they're still deep on the river. Let's see what
And
sizing.
at this point, any straights as well. I don't think that's what's lurking for Donchev.
Just in case he was up against the straight, of course, you welcome.
In spots like these, are you like going for a tell? And if I was in his shoes, I always look at the villain and try to get a read. I want to know if they're strong or not. Because if I think they're strong but have second best, I would go big. And if I don't think they're going to call a big bet, I would probably, like, he can go for 2 sizings. He can go small here and try to maybe induce, or just go for straight value if he thinks that Danchev has like ace king, ace queen, hands like that are going to call a big bet. What do you guys think?
I'm always kind of aware of I'm always kind of looking at them, aware of their body language, but it's more of like a feel, like based on that, what do I feel like they have, until there's like one big decision on the river. Like if they bet big on the river, then I'm gonna really stare at them and interrogate them, and to the extent that you're allowed within the rule. Obviously, I can't interrogate them in certain ways in the tournament.
When you stare, what are you looking at besides energy? I know you said energy, but besides that, is there like a certain thing you look for? Like
throughout the hand, there's not a certain thing. When I'm deciding on the river, there are several certain things that I'm not going to say what they are. But I will just state the obvious that you're trying to decide whether he wants you to call or to fold.
Okay.
And he's obviously trying to make you think the opposite of what he actually wants.
Sweeley, do you look for tells? Like any specific tells?
Yeah, I would be gathering information throughout the hand to try to figure out, what kind of player. I have no idea who this guy is, to be honest with you.
They're all regs on the tour, on the Triton.
Yeah,
stuff.
I figured that's as much, but no, actually playing against him and having some sort of history with the guy, even at the table, I would have some sort of better read about what kind of player he is. Why would he be, check calling opening and then check calling 2 streets and then checking a 3rd street, before I would probably be trying to go a little smaller, because just not expecting him to be able to call with many hands, because I'm making, if I'm
so smaller is what, half pot? You're going like
half pot or less. Yeah, that's what I would.
Less.
I agree. I would go half pot or less.
You don't ever go for a block bet. Maybe try to induce here. But what hands are gonna bluff? That's the thing. There are no hands. There are no natural bluffs on that board that Danchev is gonna take a line of in case Yan induces and goes for like a 10% block bet. Like he bets 33K or 30K. I don't see many hands that Danchev is gonna pick as bluffs here and go for it, because like there's no flush draw on board. There's no flush on board. Yeah, I don't think it's a good line to take. I would just go for value, like you said, like something small, like half pot, and try to get paid. But here, a lot of amateurs go for like 100K, like they want a crying call, like
like a call by a queen or a 10.
And they telegraph that they have a strong hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. But these guys, you're not going to tell from the bet size exactly what they have. But let's see what Yan chooses here. So as far as tells, David, there's no specific thing that you look for. Eyes, hands, feet, breathing, jugular, nothing.
It's hard to pinpoint anything particular. You just kind of get a sense of where they're at, and you know, there's nothing I would say specific. You know, it's just kind of like a spidey sense is what I get when I'm playing.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anything on video that would give me that I would have picked up if I, you know, just from this video.
Yeah, these guys are pros. It's hard to pick up tells. Amateurs, they'll have a lot of tells, and sometimes some people send fake tells, like they act nervous when they're strong. The one tell here, I'm gonna give it on air, that always gives off the strength of somebody's hand is when you're about to call and they try to flip their hand, like, or they stand up, they start standing up like they're leaving. I'll be like, what? You're leaving the hand? What's happening? Or they act like they're gonna fold. They grab the cards, and I'll be like, "What? You're folding?" I'm thinking here. When they do that shit, they have it every time. They either stand up and they start it's like too much acting. Like, relax.
It's very dangerous saying they have it every time, because if in fact they have it every time and you know that every time, then they can do it the opposite way and it becomes super exploitable.
Every time I've seen that act, they start acting like they're going to stand up and leave or something, or muck their cards, or they start like they're eager to show their hands. 9 times out of 10 they had it. When I, like, from my experience, sometimes if somebody's advanced, they might do it as a reverse tell and have act that same way and not have it. Last time a guy it's weird, Spanish guy, he looked at me, he's like, you can fold. He bet big on the river and it didn't make sense. And he kept saying, you can fold. Like, once they start talking, if you're comfortable enough to face your opponent and talk, you have it. Because when you're bluffing, you don't want to make eye contact unless you're like Justin, that's comfortable in big spots. He can do that. He can talk with you and still not have it. But most players, they're not going to make eye contact. They're not comfortable enough to look at you and have a conversation. So, yeah, let's finish the hand, see what Yan decides.
Suppose ace-10 is possible as well. Even like ace-8. You know, that's a hand that would be huge trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yan is still in the tank. He's deciding on a
north
size.
of full pot. No, 253, not 353, but still very healthy out of David, who took his time here before coming up with this number. And now for Danchev,
he bombs.
What do you think he's got, chat? He raised it pre to 25,000, then check called 25K on the flop. Check called 100K on the turn, and now faces 253 on this river.
Yeah, the way this board is developed, Jan doesn't have that many bluffs. So curious to see how Danchev continues.
Oh, is that a time bank? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Wow, he checked jams. Now this is slightly awkward.
Okay, he check and jams over pot. He goes 799 into like 583 or something. So he overbet spot. All right, first of all, does Yan ever have bluffs in that spot? Like on 8-8, 8-10, queen, ace-8. Does he ever have bluffs? Like,
ever? Sure. I mean, I don't like when people ever say, "Oh, you never have this," or "You never." I start from a position of anything's possible always.
But what? Okay, name the natural bluffs in that spot. Like, what natural bluffs does he have?
Natural meaning he had something that didn't get there.
Yeah, like draws that missed. Like, does he ever have like King Jack got there, Jack 9 suited got there, Ace Jack, Ace King. He never has Ace King because that hand would have 3-bet pre. He never has queens or aces. Those hands would have 3-bet pre unless he gets too tricky. He has tens. He can't have pocket eights. Now he has quads. I mean, it's likely, but it's not that likely. He could have pocket tens, obviously. That hands make sense. The ace X hands that got there on the turn, which, I mean, Dan Chef should have more ace X than he does. So I don't see any bluffs that could take that line. Yeah, on Yan's side.
You don't see any that makes sense, meaning you could have any two cards. You could just have pocket fours and be like, the guy checked me on the flop, I'm in bed. Oh, now the ace hit. I'm going to barrel again.
Lower pairs.
I'm going to go for it. Like
these guys that are too balanced to do that. Like you're going to see a hand that makes sense. Under pair might take that line, but would he go
9-7 of diamonds? I mean,
9-7 of diamonds. That's the only hand that bricked. 7-9 suited. And I don't see Yan defending that hand pre.
King 9 of diamonds.
King 9.
King 9 of diamonds.
Not many, really. Not many comes to mind, honestly. But anyway, back to Danshev. What do you think Danshev has here? Like taking that line, check call, and then goes for.
So that you just feel sick to your stomach if you're Jan.
100%.
Because you're so strong, but like in order for him to do that, like it's so strong, for that to be a bluff is tough. This is how I went out of the Colossus, and I didn't think long enough. I was Jan here, sitting here with a boat, and I got raised on the river. I'm sitting here thinking, how can I rep a bluff and get this guy to call as much as possible? And then he raised me all in on the river, and I didn't even think about it that long. And afterwards, I was asking myself, could I get away from that? And
so what are the value hands that Danshev is repping? Like, is he doing that with King Jack?
No, that's the thing. Is he's telling you he's got it. He's not telling you I have a straight.
He might do it with King Jack. That could be like he might think like, should I do this with King Jack? He might even do it with just an 8. Like I could see him just being in there with like an 8-9 and deciding, you know what, this is worth an all in. Maybe he hero calls me with an ace.
He only has 2 combos of 8-9. 8-9 of heart. And
I'm not saying he has that. I'm just saying it's possible. Like a lot of people just rule out you can't have this. Like I'm always like,
no. I'm saying like, what hands do you give him for value? So you're saying he would do that with King Jack. He would do that with
value, aces, queens, 8s.
But are aces checking flop?
Anything's possible. Back to anything's possible.
Okay, so aces, queens.
8s,
pocket 8s. I think 8 like set of 8s on the flop would start betting small. I doubt it would take the check call line, or he would show aggression on one of the streets. Like, doesn't make that much sense. I mean,
it would be really hard to put him on a better hand than what we have here, but it's a spot because it's really hard to just think this guy is going to go.
I feel like if we call, he's going to turn over queens, and if we fold, he's going to turn over 9-7 of diamonds.
These guys are capable. 9-7 of diamonds, or 9-7 of hearts.
King 9 of diamonds.
Yeah, let's see what he actually has. So here, Jan is puking on the inside. I mean, you hate that spot. I hate that spot when you're betting for value and you think you're good. And
Queens full or aces full here. Obviously, that's the story he's telling David Jan. And this is a horrific feeling in the pit of Jan's stomach.
He goes in the tank for a long time.
And I think
It's so crazy. If he has queens, it's like so crazy even to not raise turn because there's so many cards that ruin your hand if you have queens.
Into bluff.
Top set. The solver wants to check it like at a
I'm
high
thinking he's got
frequency.
aces. That's
Still in the tank. It's been like 5-6 minutes.
And are there
By the way, in
bluffs?
the middle stages
And if
here,
there
I'm more
are,
likely to
what would they include?
call, like
mainly three
good
pair.
to
So
middle
queen 10.
stages. There's no
Ace
pay
queen?
jumps. There's
Maybe
no
ace queen.
Yeah, here they're not even in the money yet. They're far from the money. But
Yeah,
ICM is
so
Queen 10, you're
His
blocking that.
registration's closed though.
I'm
I
less
think
likely
so,
to
yeah,
get the big
yeah.
The problem here is that he beats a little bit of value, and that's a disaster if you fold against that.
less likely to make a big fold when I'm so far away from the money.
Right.
If I have more time invested.
What a sick tank here. Holy shit.
It's a 22-minute video. Does he tank another 12 minutes?
No.
And pocket queens get shown set over set. What an
Queens, yeah.
absolute nightmare for David Yan. The
Shows queens. I think it makes sense to check the flop, take that line. It was
Yeah.
very tricky on his side. Let's go to the questions from the chat on Facebook. You have a lot of questions.
Got a lot of questions?
Yeah. Some in line, some out of line.
Good. Let's get to the out of line ones.
The out of line.
So,
We have a whole 6 people watching, by the way.
Oh wow. Must be his mom. His
Shout
dad,
out
his
to the
sister.
6. Okay, Deborah Farmer. Shout out to Deborah. She said, to what does he credit his amazingly successful year of poker this year?
Thanks, Deborah. I would say the adjustments made. Like, I feel like we were very close to something that could make these types of runs in previous years, but there were a few major leaks that needed to be adjusted. And we had that theory that it's like, if we make these adjustments, we're good at getting these mega stacks early. If we could just make these little adjustments in the secondary levels, we're also good once we hit the money and late. We just need to get through the secondary levels. The secondary levels was where we always screwed it up. So those adjustments in the secondary levels, I think, was the difference maker.
After registration, but before the money. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or
Even registration probably still open.
okay?
So when we talk about adjustments, tell the people they want to hear the nitty, the meaty stuff. Adjustments means what? Like, what are we doing?
Making that realization that the game has switched from being a post-flop game to being a pre-flop game before losing the big pot, making that realization and changing how we play, being aware of how we're perceived at the table. Maybe like we've been super active, we've been willing to gamble in big spots, we've been playing a higher variance style. We now have, 6 starting stacks or 8 starting stacks. We might already have enough chips to cash if we can just maintain, and we're nowhere close to cashing. Like, we might be only like 25% of the field gone so far, but we have enough chips that we have 8x starting stack or something.
Is there
Just
any
let our
material
foot off
out
the
there?
gas.
Is there
Say it
any
again?
material out there that you studied that just took your game to the next level this year? Do you memorize pre-flop charts, for example? Or
I don't use solvers. I don't memorize pre-flop charts. I really just try to think. Like,
intuitive stuff.
As ridiculous as that sounds, I try to just like think. Like, every time I go out of a tournament or every time I blow a big stack, I really think about, like, was that a punt? Was that dumb? Or was that worth it? And I feel like I've punted my stack off in so many different ways in the past that if I can just like, okay, that's another way to ruin it. Let me make sure I don't do it in that way again. Like, I mean, even
Who's the
still,
go-to
like,
guy? Who's the go-to guy to get the answers? Like, let's say you're not sure if it's a punt or not. Who do you go to and give the hand history?
I talked through some hand histories with Sweeley. Like we definitely talked through. We talked through some stuff, but really, I think about it. I try to really think about it. You know, like sometimes it's pretty obviously a punt. Like that. Like I called. I had a big stack in the Millie Maker in the money, and I called like most of my stack away with King High and got shown quads. It's just like obviously a punt, but like I got that stack by calling an all in earlier in the tournament with King High and it being good. Like, you know, so it's like there's a very thin line between punt and genius, you know?
We got another question from Kevin Montgomery. Shout out to Kevin. He said, my question, the food in the loser's lounge, is it always delicious?
Kevin, thanks. One more thing I just wanted to finish with that last answer. I said that there's a thin line between genius and punt. What I would say is earlier in those early levels of the tournaments, if you want to call it all in with King High and hope it's genius, that's the time to do it. If you're wrong about it, then you can rebuy or whatever. You know, once you already have the big stack, to then do it then is more likely to be a punt. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be one or two spots where you're going to have to risk everything on something that could be a punt, and you're just going to have to be right if you want to win a tournament. At least in my opinion. But anyway, back to Kevin's question. Thanks, Kevin. What was it? Is the food in the Losers Lounge?
In the Losers Lounge, is it always delicious? By the way, we got to tell the audience that your stories are nothing but food, and it's all like high quality food.
My Instagram and Snapchat stories he's talking about. So I post my chip stacks sometimes. I post my food. You know what? The food in the Losers Lounge is oftentimes better than the food when we win. For the sole reason that when you bag, it's late at night and there's limited restaurants still open. But when you blast your chips away earlier, there's still like some of the more super premium restaurants are going to be open still. They haven't closed yet. So some of those really good meals are because those were the days that we had blasted our stacks away, like during normal business hours. And
I responded to Kevin.
I
responded to Kevin. And I told him sometimes the Asian soup at the Hard Rock can cost up to $2,000 or even more. Lazaro Ramolina, shout out to Lazaro. He's watching, I think. He's a grinder at Hard Rock and a good friend. He said, all I want to know is when can I get some training and classes from you, Carl? I need it bad. We can set it up, Lazaro. We can set it up. Nicole Renee, shout out to Nicole. You know Nicole.
Nicole, yeah.
Does he feel he can play well without getting a massage? That's a valid question. Also, congrats on an impressive summer.
Thank you, Nicole. Nope. My game without a massage, I'm screwed. I'm a fish out of water. So we need to budget for whatever the buy-in is. Budget like 2x that for massages for any given tournament.
So more massage.
If we want to have any shot at, which can become very expensive until you get to the stages where the pay jumps are more than $2 a minute plus tip.
The other question that I'm asking, after winning $500,000 this year, are we even with massages and buy-in, or are we still stuck?
So far, we're actually, I think, I haven't added it up yet, but I think we're above even at current moment.
Even. We're in the profit.
However, ask me that again tomorrow, and it may be a different answer.
Oh, damn.
So we tend to swing big.
I said to Nicole, I said he even suggested getting one while on the pod. And she's like, oh my God, laughing face.
We talked about it.
Matt Longfellow, shout out to Matt. He said, like the new name. Okay, he's talking about the new name of the podcast. Thank you, Matt. Parm Shout out to Parm. Parm grinded the whole schedule this year in Vegas. Her and Dan. I actually might get them on the podcast. Her and Dan would make a good podcast. Dan is a crusher too, by the way. She said, "I have witnessed Justin working so hard the whole 2 months in Vegas. Definitely one of the toughest to beat."
Thanks, Parm. Parm was there, railing the final table, and Parm and Dan both had super deep runs also at this year's World Series.
Yeah,
Different
they had
events. Both
multiple.
of them were knocking on the door at a Bracelet themselves.
They're tough, both of them, for sure. They go out there and battle. Michael Sinclair, shout out to Michael. He said, "Ever have shitty poker players on?" Fair question.
That's what we're doing right now, Michael.
Oh, this is happening now? No,
yeah.
I don't agree. Mike Bergstresser, what's up, Mike? Shout out to Mike. He said, "Who's got an over/under for the word sir?" Valid question. Over/under for the word sir. We didn't use it that much, actually. Maybe 5 or 6 times. So it's not
so far.
So far.
Yeah, so far.
There's still time for the over to come through.
That's all the questions from the chat. Let's fire up some fun questions and wrap the session up. Sweeley, you have anything?
Let me see.
Was that all of them?
Yeah, I think so.
All the ones from Carl's. What are your plans for the rest of the year, poker-wise?
We're gonna take a crack at the Win WPT series in December.
Okay.
Excited about that one. Love staying at the Win. The food is super premium there. The rooms are there. I love staying on property where I'm playing when possible. It's not always possible, but when it is, it's very convenient for the grind. I'm excited about that one. Between now and then, I might play the World Poker Tour Jacks. I don't think the schedule's out yet, but that's in November. And then there's a bunch of other series between now and then that I don't know that I'll get a chance to make it out to on this particular year. But in the future, I want to travel to more out of town series. Series is, as we like to say.
Series is correct.
What's the stack size that you feel like it's a danger zone for you? Like how many bigs? Is it 20 bigs, 15 bigs, where you start like freaking out?
It's situational. It's anything less than I had at my peak. So if we run up starting stack to like 8x starting stack and then we fall down to 7x starting stack, we start panicking.
Yeah, and I've tried real hard to tell him, look, I mean, when the average is 38, let's say, and he's got 22, he's like, I got a double. I'm just, I don't play a lot of tournaments. He plays a lot more tournaments than I do, but I'm trying to tell him, you don't always need to be the chip leader of your table to be in a good position to go deep in the tournament.
What's the shortest you were in the Bracelet event? The shortest stack you had after registration closed?
Maybe going into day 3 with 14 players left. I don't remember exactly, but it was
you were about
probably a little below average.
Does that sound right? You're 8th out of 14. Does that sound right?
Yeah, something like that. But like everyone below me was like right about the same amount too. So it was super danger zone. It was, and the blinds were big. That particular tournament, like the blinds were like the stack sizes were only like 19 big blinds or something average. And then like by the end of the level, they would be like average 23 big blinds, and then blinds would go up again and be like average 19 big blinds. It's like it kind of cuts out. That's what I'm talking about. The difference between when it's a post flop game and a pre flop game. When it's 19 big blinds, it's pretty much a pre-flop game. Like you can't be getting involved with too many speculative hands and trying to play.
When you say pre-flop game, are you trying to take the pots pre-flop, or are you saying like you're playing the correct ranges pre-flop? Because Back in 06, 07, up to like 2012, 2013, remember those days where they used to click it back and forth, 5-bet, 6-bet with like, I remember one hand, the guy had like ace-6 against Sean Deeb, and Sean Deeb had aces. Like he thought Sean Deeb was getting out of line. The guy was a German reg, and he 6-bet it with ace-6, and they played like a 300 big blind pot, and the ace-6 won. He hit a 6 on the flop, 6 on the river. But those days are over. Like if you ever watch Triton, you're never going to see a 5-6 bet pre-flop. So the game is like more post-flop now. And it's less somewhat passive pre-flop. You see 3 bets, sometimes 4 bets. It's never going to go 5-bet, 6-bet, just like those wars. And we used to see. And yeah, we used to see those wars in the WSOP just like a chicken game. Those days are over. Are you playing that game ever? Are you like ever 5-6 betting with like ace-3 off or something? Or
no? And I actually think, you know how some of these training courses will tell you that you should be bluffing with ace-4, ace-5 suited. Like those are the hands you should be 4-betting with and so forth. And I kind of have this theory that that was just propaganda to get people to punt their stacks away. Like I just don't think that's smart. Like,
you know
sure,
what?
sometimes
Talking
it works
about
out.
this, I had to shout out to Danny Lobato. I was talking with him about this. There's one guy that puts content out there, and it's coaching content, and I just can't watch it. It's so what he says, like, okay, we're gonna watch a video here about hands that you shouldn't play. Listen to this. His content is on point, but this guy, okay, let's listen.
This is the number one reason why people lose at poker. All of the hands I'm about to list are pure junk. You need to be folding them before the flop. Ace-9, ace-5, king.
Ace-9, ace-5 suited. He's saying you should fold pre-flop. Let's listen.
8, queen-9, a 9-7, or a 7-5. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if they're suited or not. These hands are...
Like what? He's saying ace-5 suited, 7-9 suited, king-8 offsuit or suited. Like poker is never, it's never absolute where you say these hands you can never play them. Like in certain circumstances, if you're in position, ace-5 suited is like the nuts, 7-9 suited, king-8 suited. All these hands are in range to open, and it's standard. He's saying to never play these hands. I mean, what kind of poker? Where is he getting his material from? Yes, you don't open king-8 suited from under the gun, but king-8 suited on the button becomes premium to open. It's standard play.
When it's early levels, you can play all those hands.
Early or late. Like you have your pre-flop ranges and you play accordingly and you adjust to the table. It's not like I'm not saying play like a robot and apply the ranges 100%, but you're on the button and this guy's saying like, oh, he goes in your head. Ace-5 suited is a fold. So you start folding
you're
ace-5
on the button. Yeah, you're going to still play it.
So what range of hands are you playing? Like not 8s through kings and aces, and that's it. Ace, king, ace, queen. This is like poker.
I agree with you.
Not at all. I mean, anyway, sunglasses at the table, yes or no?
No. I tried them when I first started playing that original World Series or something. Didn't like them.
I've never seen you wear sunglasses.
Only 06. Tried them one time. Like, sure, they hide your eyes, but they also obstruct your ability to see out as well. You know,
you're right. You're right. Railbirds cheering loud or total silence?
Railbirds cheering. I think that really helped having some of my friends there on the rail. Like
yeah, see, that didn't bother you. I saw a lot of people talking, and they're one hand you were tanking, and people were talking loud about what you could have and not. Me,
really? I didn't even hear any of that.
Yeah, a couple people were like trying to figure out what the other guy has, and we're close.
God.
Like the rail is so close to the table.
I had it tuned out. I didn't hear any of that.
You were dialed in, yeah. So it doesn't bother you if they're loud.
No, it didn't even bother me when I lost and the other rails were cheering for the other people. The guy who got second was really vocal, and like there was a guy from Japan at the final table, and he had a lot of people from Japan, and then the guy who got second, Ty, was like trying to steal the Japan rail. He was like, Japan, where you at? And then he's like, they're my rail now. Like, like all of that stuff didn't bother me at all. I was just like,
By the
I
way,
think we should lean into that more with poker. If we can make it more of a spectator sport and get more people interested, it'll bring more people into the game. It'll make it more fun. It'll, it could be on TV more. It could get endorsements.
talking about
into it.
spectator, that's the thing. If it wasn't for RFID and Pocket Cam, poker is never a spectator sport because you're sitting there not knowing what cards they have, so you have no clue what's going on. The only thing that made poker popular is RFID and live streams and stuff. Yet in Tampa, we still have to make the case why live streams are good for the game. Everybody's saying, where's the revenues going to come from? And why do you, it's all about ego and being on camera. It's not about ego and being on camera. It's what makes this game popular is having it on TV, is having it on YouTube. With social media today, it's free to put all this content out, and it's free marketing for that room. It's not about ego and who's the better player. And one guy said, I'm not going to name names, he said, it's in a small room like Hard Rock, like who's going to watch this? The amateurs playing. You know how many good players? You know how many players would want to watch the crushers in Tampa, like AJ Kelsall? Help me out, Sweeley here. Who Justin Zaki plays?
That's enough to know.
I mean, all the crushers in Tampa. What's his name? Ken O'Donnell. Like all these crushers in Tampa. We would love to watch them on a live stream. So yeah, we have to make the case why live stream is important in Tampa. I think there's talks that it might happen in TGT, but it's not 100% yet. They're looking at cheaper options because I was talking like 25K to 60K to make it happen. They're looking at cheaper systems. It wouldn't cost that much. It would cost less than 15, 20K to make it happen. Bad Beat Story or Glory Story?
Glory Story.
No bad beats. I've never heard you talk about bad beats, but you've never texted me like, hey, this happened, or can't believe what he called me. I've never heard you talk about bad beats.
I mean, I think I will from time to time, but Glory Stories are definitely preferable.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hand? The silly question. Your favorite hand.
Aces.
Well said. At TGT a couple of days ago, they were talking about their favorite, and one guy said 7-9. One guy said Queen 9. One guy said 7-3. He said, "Oh, I always win with 7-3," and he raises it. He plays it like aces. He said 7-3. It always win. And one guy said Ace King. He said he always wins with it, and always wins when the other guy has it. I've never heard that one before. So he always wins when he has it. And when the other guy has Ace King, he wins against it. It was a weird statement.
Yeah, I think there was a couple hands I did want to go over that I thought would be valuable, but if we're out of time, I understand. But there was,
we can add the. Here, go ahead.
I think May actually asked a question on my status about like any big hands that you thought were of value.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you missed that one. Do we have time to still talk about that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So there was a very pivotal hand on day 2 of the Bracelet event. I was at Chino Reem's table, and there's probably 200 people left out of 7,000, and we both have big stacks, but he's got us covered. And we open a King Queen of Hearts in middle position, and he calls in the big blind, and it comes 6-5 deuce all diamonds. Now, oftentimes I'm c-betting here because I'm just c-betting most things. But
question was he what position was he in, and what position were you in?
He's in the big blind. We're in middle position. We have position. He checks. We
Flop
check back.
4, 5, 6 all diamonds.
6-5 deuce all diamonds.
6-5 deuce all diamonds. You have King Queen of Hearts. Okay.
King Queen of Hearts. He checks. We check back. We're not getting too crazy because it's Chino Reem. He's capable of a lot of stuff. He's one of the best players in the world, and he doesn't play a standard style. He's capable of showing up with anything. He's capable of making you think he has nothing when he has the nuts. He's capable of having the nuts when you think he's bluffing.
He plays street poker, and he's very well at reading people, and it's a mix of, his game is a mix of like GTO and street poker. Like you said, he's capable. But my question is, what's the general strategy on like coordinated low boards versus the big blind? Because that board that you talked about is a high frequency check, whether we have it or not. Like even if you flop a set, you want a high frequency check just because it's he could
It's
have
all situational because I'm not a GTO guy. I'm a exploitative guy. So it depends
100%.
who the player in the big blind is. If they're the type of player to check raise, then I might check it back. If they're the type of player that they would just check call if they have a piece of that or something, I might bet, might take it down there. Or if they called, then an overcard hits, big overcard, we might hit our king or queen, or an ace or jack could be cards we rep, or another diamond. If he checks it, we'll decide if we want to bluff at the diamond or if we think he might have the diamond. So anyway, in the case here, Chino Rheem in the big, we check back. Turn is an offsuit queen. Okay. He checks it to us again. We have no reason to think we're beat here. He hasn't shown anything. So we bet this turn. He check raises us more than half our stack. Now, remember, we got a huge stack. We could just fold here. And I think most people will fold here. And if we do go, we might be drawing dead. He could just have like a made flush. And then we're drawing dead. So this was probably the most difficult read that I had to make in the whole tournament. And it came down to a live read. And I stared him down and kind of scrutinized him and made the read that I don't think he was doing it with nothing, but I didn't think he wanted me to continue. He was happy to take it down right there. So then it becomes a decision of, are we willing to risk our tournament life on this? And also, if we are going to continue, should we call or raise? And I decided to raise all in for the rest, knowing he's probably going to be priced in the call with most things that he would do this with. And it's going to be our tournament life, and we could go out right here. Whereas we could have just continued with a big stack and kept advancing deeper. So we go all in. He then
the all in is what, 2x pot almost?
At this point, no, the all in is not even like he already his raise was for more than half our stack.
Okay.
So he's getting great odds to call now. Like
okay.
But he goes
so
into
the value hands. The value hands are continuing 100%. The bluffs are folding. So basically, you're attacking his bluffs in case he has, like you said, the flop was 6-5 deuce.
Yeah.
If he has like hand like ace-7 with the ace of diamond, ace-7 off, or like king-8 with the king of diamond, those hands might take that line because in case you call, he still has equity. He can realize on the river a diamond or a king or an overpair. So these hands, if you're targeting these hands, if he has these hands, definitely folding. His bluffs, basically. The value of that, like 2-pair plus, flushes continuing. I don't think he has that many queen X that's going to continue. But anyway, he snap folds.
No, he goes into the tank then, and he's like, oh, man, you've been Hollywooding, haven't you? Like, I actually wasn't Hollywooding. I had a very difficult decision for my tournament life. He now goes into the tank thinking I'm Hollywooding and he could be drawing dead. And he's like, oh, I wonder if I'm even live. And like hem and haw. So I'm feeling good. Like, okay, it was exactly what I thought. He's probably got a diamond and like he's wondering if it's live. And, it was the right play. Like
he folded.
It's a higher variance play. So eventually he makes the call. He has queen-8 with the 8 of diamonds. And we just survived the river.
Queen-8 with the 8 of diamond?
So he had top pair with the diamond draw. It's a big hand. I mean,
oh, my bad. He hit the queen on the turn and he had a diamond back. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So I mean, from his point of view, remember when I bet, he has no reason to think that I even have anything yet. I could just be like, let me try to stab at this and take it down. But then once I raise all in, now he's like, oh man, am I even live? So he needed to hit an 8 or a diamond on the river. If he hits that card, we're out there. Like no bracelet, no nothing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
6 spot. Wow.
For our tournament life. So we double up to like mega stack there. Like, and that was like,
yeah, most average players are never taking that line. They're never taking the C option and going for an all-in. They're thinking about either calling or folding, but they're never thinking about going all in. Like that option wouldn't even cross their mind because they're going on the defense, not the offense. Interesting hand. Wow. All right, guys, we're almost at the 2-hour mark. Thank you so much for coming on, and watch out for the edited version to come out soon.
Thanks for having me
Facebook
on,
page
sir.
near you, of course.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, David, for coming on as a host, bro. Great job.
Yeah,
Great
you're both welcome too on future streams.
Okay, thanks a lot.
See you guys.
Sweeley might have a career in this too. Oh, I did want to say also that mustache, in case you guys were wondering on Carl, that is AI. That is not real.
It's AI created.
It's pretty masterful. Sweeley's goatee is real though.
Oh yeah,
it's not AI.
This beard is real.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Later.